go 얼어붙어 like whoa 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에
Hello everyone, welcome back. Happy New Year. It's been a while since I uploaded my last video. I was thinking what would be a good topic for me to start in 2023, and I thought sharing my journey in becoming a project manager might be a good start. So if you are thinking about switching into a career for project manager kind of role, or if you're just starting in your career, I think it will be good for you to listen what actually happened. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. So I'll be sharing my background, and secondly, I will talk about the skills that it takes to become a project manager, and thirdly, I would like to talk about the difference between project and product manager, which is quite popular these days, and fourthly, I will also talk about should you become a project manager. Firstly, it's about my background. So I didn't really come from a technical background. I'm coming from a business background. I used to study accounting at my university. I'm always a business person because it's really popular in Hong Kong for you to have a profession in business. So I studied accounting, and it was boring, but I thought it would be good to have some like skills in terms of like knowing the numbers, like how business works. So I thought it would be a good start for me at that time for the career, and I did accounting for 2.5 years after I graduated. At that time, I thought it's really tedious for me to do the job over and over again because it involved a lot of manual calculation, and I just feel like it's not interested anymore. So I thought at that time I need to quit. So I was working in a Big Four accounting firm. I wanted to quit, but at that time one of the partners, which is in another team, asked me if I would like to try a consultancy kind of role. So at that time that team is still very small. It's not really popular. At the time, everyone thought about, okay, what project can you actually do out of accounting? It's not easy. It's not easy for people to believe that you can actually have technology projects in business and tax and finance. So but at that time I was like, okay, I wanted to quit anyway, so I wanted to give it a try. So that's when I started to step into the projects kind of role, because at that time you got different kinds of projects. For example, it can be an Excel based solution, it can be a consultancy kind of role. For example, the client asks you to advise on their current model, current processes, the data on how they're treating the data. There can be quite a lot of different kind of projects that interested me quite a lot, because I am a person that easily could get bored. So at that time I got the opportunity to actually go to different countries in Asia, and also to work with different kinds of people. I thought that actually opens up the world of projects for me. At that time I didn't really know what is project management, but then I knew that I need to deliver the project. I need to make sure that it happened. I started talking to the client by understanding what they need, drafting the proposal, talking to the client about the price, getting them to agree to the price, getting them to agree to start the project, getting them to set up the team and work with us. That is actually a very engaging conversation that you need to have with other people to ensure that someone is engaged, someone wants to start the project. So I would say throughout the project life cycle, you are the person who just have to make sure that it happened, no matter what it takes. So it can be quite risky sometimes, it can be quite challenging sometimes, but then still you are the person who is managing the whole project. The skills of a good project manager, I would say mainly 3 things. So firstly, it's about plans. So it's always you making different kinds of plans, and there can be plans that never been executed. There can be plans that is actually some dreams from some sort of like other bosses. It can be plans actually happened, but then it's not that smooth after all, but then it happened. So you are the one who is always adjusting plans, and you have to have the full vision of what's actually happening so that you can have these skills or have the knowledge to actually adjust the plans. People love to see plans. And secondly, you have to be a fast learner. You need to be a fast learner in terms of you need to know how to Google, how to problem solve yourself. You can never know everything. You can never know every project. Thirdly, I would say is to have good communication skills. Project manager is the one that people goes to whenever they want to communicate certain problems to the group. Sometimes I would say for some technical people like the developers or the software engineers, they do not know how to phrase the problems properly. Sometimes people might get it wrongly. People might thought it's a very serious issue, but then maybe there's actually other ways to handle it. But for some people, it might not be good for them, or they might not have the perfect skill to shape how they are telling someone about the issue. So you are the one who is actually communicating with the group of what's going on, what's the issue, what can be the solution. So communication is really, really important if you're working in a complex project especially. So the difference between project and product manager, I got this asked a lot because product manager is a really popular kind of job these days. Product manager works a lot with the tech team as well, so people would have confusion of what's actually the differences. So I would say a complete life cycle for me starts from idea, case and scenarios, strategy and business case, minimum viable product, so we call it MVP, different sprints and iteration. So this is how I imagine the whole thing would happen. It starts from an idea and it ends with something delivered and you got the feedback and you go back to the sprints again and to make the product better. I would say project manager needs to know exactly the whole process from idea to feedback to actually the product being rolled out and knowing the feedback from the team. And then a project manager has to manage a lot of ideas because there can be a lot of ideas from different people. It's easy to have ideas, but then it's very, very difficult to get an idea to a product that actually happened and that actually got users and you got good feedback. It's so difficult to get one of these happen. But then this is job of a project manager, just to make sure that each idea is backed by proper business case, proper research, strategy before it's taken to a product manager. So product manager is more focused on the product itself. So once he or she knows what has to be developed, and he or she will be the one who research on the user journey on how would the user actually experience the product. So I would say it's more detailed and more into the user journey kind of side, while project manager is the one who's actually overseeing the numbers, also the business strategy, or the focus, or the idea on how the idea should be turned into a product. Okay, so should you become a project manager? So I think if you're just starting in your career, it's quite difficult to go into the manager role directly, although you can. But I think that still depends on the expertise that you have. It's better to have 1 or 2 years actual working experience to understand what's happening before you try to manage something. And secondly, if you're a person that likes to make things happen like me, I think that's a good position for you to be in, because you have the power to move things forward, make things happen. And of course that still depends on the organization and a lot of dependency as well, but because currently I'm working in a startup environment, that's easier for me to make things happen. I have more control, but in certain big organization it might be more difficult. Thirdly, I think if you are a person that likes to learn new things and like to have new ideas for the team, I think that's also a good position for you, because I think project manager is really the kind of like central person. Like, you're not from either side. You're not really exactly a business side or not exactly a technical side of person. So the comments or the feedback that you have, I think is still more valid from either of the parties, because it's easy to have bias. And if you are a person like to continuously learning new things and just to see if that can make things better, I think is actually good for you to be this role where you can have the neutral kind of perspective, just to make things forward, make things better. I think that's also a good role for you. So that's the end of my sharing today. I wanted to say presentation. Yeah, so there's still quite a lot to it. To being a project manager, you got a lot of challenges, you got a lot of negativity throughout the process that's actually not covered in this video, but I hope that's a brief and good just introduction of what's actually a project manager, because I often got asked by my friends on what's actually happening, like what actually do you do, like do you do nothing, it looks like you do nothing. Yeah, so I would say a lot of work is not really actual paperwork, but then a lot of communications, a lot of thought, a lot of thinking, communication, a lot of research, understanding actually takes part in the whole career, whole process. So maybe I'll get another chance to share more a bit on the challenges as well. I hope this is a good reference for you if you are thinking about what actually is about like project manager, what's the difference between project and product and things like that. So I would love to hear more from you and love to answer questions as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.